All right, got a luggage pickup coming out of Delta. We actually were just a couple blocks around the corner. And the carousel usually is E15. This is like one carousel higher. You just go down this way and you'll run right into it. Right next to a Alaskan on the other side of the ticket counter. So you've got Alaskan and Delta, JetBlue. It's right down here. That one. Well, suddenly canceled out of nowhere. So I don't know why it didn't make any sense. Like a luggage one would cancel that quick. Oh well. Oh, they got a $40 gig, but it's a truck. So you have to have a truck on some of these gigs. I think it was two $40 gigs, but you still burn more gas with a truck though. And it's bigger items that you have to haul. Where the carousel is, right over in that way. Well, he's gonna get the bag because it's a roadie pickup for luggage, but now it's saying GPS and I'm at carousel E15, which is where it wants me to be. So I'm gonna have to drive around, kind of like when you do when your kids are trying to go to sleep, whenever they're little babies. You know, you have to drive around your kids so they'll go to sleep. Well, I gotta do the same thing to find this GPS connection. Okay, but we're gonna do the best that we can. Okay, I don't know if they do that to lag it because he still has to get it off the carousel. Maybe so, but I think it's kind of cruel. But anyway. So usually what it does is it says that I'm not in the GPS location, and then it says, are you? Then hit continue, and that means it's ready. It's just their weird way of doing it. But E15 carousel is right there, and it's literally right next to it, so it's kind of a tip too. They're like right over in that direction, right there. So he had to get it off the carousel, so they're probably just lagging it to wait to get to the office. All right, so he said that it was there, and they're waiting for it. That's Delta. You can kind of read it there. This is the E15. He said about 5 minutes or so, take it off of the carousel, bring it into the office, and then we lug it to the location. Hopefully no more than 18 miles. That's what they're paying, $18. And logistically, I was here like right on cue, like right here, you know, right at the terminal. So it could be a pretty good one. I guess the thing about Roadie is you have to kind of learn how to make it your own, is probably what you have to do. It's that kind of app. All right, he went to go search out the luggage on the carousel right now, so we'll have to wait. It said no more than 5 minutes, but I just started spinning a little beep noise. Meep, 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 meep. And then the baggage starts dropping. That little thing goes off right here. Meep, meep, meep. Looks like I found it. Okay, he was able to hustle that down from we took a photo, and then it goes to the door. Whoops. That seems okay. All right, luggage pickup, here we go. It's headed to Fort Worth. All right, they're paying roughly $20 on this one, but the mileage that we're going from pickup is 27 miles. And we'll be there in 34 minutes, so they're definitely not doing $1 a minute. I don't know, maybe that's just the way they like to do it, I don't know. After all, it's just luggage. Because if it was a person, it would be a little heavier, most likely. But it's almost $1 a mile, so not too bad. right, guys. We're going to finish up early tonight. Break out the werewolf screenplay. Grace, a.k.a. Werevlog screenplay. And I have a tally sheet. So I found one mistake on page 12 just the other day. I brought it into Old South, and there were these old waiters laughing. And so the guy talking in my ear kind of thing. And I was going through to add some sequences to the tavern. So when I go back and read it, I'm like, oh, there's a word missing. It's that kind of thing for 200 pages. 200. It's a 200-page script about vloggers and a werewolf. She's actually a she-wolf. We're just going to go through tally and notes. And how we're going to tackle this thing is when we have a little bit of free pocket, a free time, like a free pocketed window, a free moment in time, a free moment in time, a leeway, right? Keep on going, right? Then we can read the screenplay and then work on the tally sheet. We go through the tally sheet, it's going to be like page 12, add this, page whatever, add this. We'll do it that way until we're ready. Then when I think it's pretty much ready, or as perfect as I can get it, then we print. First place I'm sending it is I'm bouncing it off the P.O. Box of Grim Life Collective if I can. I'm also going to send it to my good friend, Danny. His brother's Johnny Whitworth. He played AJ in Empire Records. You want to do that with a script. It's called a bidding. You throw it out there at different places and let them fight over it. Those are the two areas that it's going to. And Danny knows this stuff. I've sent him plenty of stuff. Danny and I even worked on a play together in college. So he'll receive it. I'm not going to send it to Eric Soderbergh because he asked me not to send him scripts. He goes through agencies only, and that's fine. And I'm sure Gary Oldman does the same. Whether it gets to Gary Oldman or not, I don't know. It'd be nice. True Romance got to Gary Oldman, and it was a great little role that he did, playing a character called Cole Spivey. I'm actually really Cole Spivey speaking. I don't know if Quentin Tarantino knew about me when he was writing True Romance, but I have a feeling he might have. If I ever get to meet him, I'm going to ask him about that name, Cole Spivey, and why he chose to use Spivey. It's an interesting role. If I ever get to have, let's say, a cup of coffee or dinner with Quentin Tarantino, that'd be the only question I'd ask him probably. I'd probably have a few more for Reservoir Dogs too, because it's a masterpiece. And maybe the New Wave moment, and A Band Apart. I would like to ask him about A Band Apart, like how he came up with it, and about the New Wave movement. Maybe Truffaut, maybe a little bit of Godard, and then maybe talk a little bit about Robert Bresson, however he pronounces it. I don't think he cares. And also maybe a little bit of his technique of him being in the pool, making a mixed drink, and then going over to the writing table, and then going back to the pool, making another mixed drink, and then going back to the writing table. Does this for like a year. He's a novelist, basically. But writers talk, they chat. I like how he helped out Jordan the Lion when he sat next to him whenever he did, of course, Hateful Eight. He premiered it at a well-known theater. I should know the name of that theater. Sorry, I can't know everything at one time. But he sat next to a famous blogger that probably got me in. Jordan was probably one of the guys that got me up to 500 or 600 subscribers. I'm at 730 now on subscribers, which is amazing for me. That's great. But I did a mini doc on Jordan. I would say our most powerful writer probably right now when it comes to script to screen is probably Quentin Tarantino, of course. As when it comes to power, like, really packing it to him. He definitely probably is one of our greatest writers. Well, inventive-wise, because it's about ideas. But, so is Lynch, of course. And Lynch is another error. David Lynch is another error. I'm talking about modern-day borderline Generation X. Lynch is coming out of the hippie movement. And, of course, there's a whole line of them. I don't want to play specials. I don't want to play favors, as they say. It's not always good to do. They're all geniuses. All the filmmakers are. Everyone from Francis Ford Coppola or Coppola, however you want to say it, all the way to, of course, Scorsese. We know that. Well, we know the geniuses, but there's probably some small time filmmakers out there that need to get on the horizon, and then float their way up to the stardom kind of thing. Hopefully, they may need to. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But I do know that Quentin I put him on the level of Shakespeare because he focuses on dialogue, but also Protestant. I believe he's a Protestant, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is kind of cool. For all that have followed my career in acting, it was mostly community theater and a little bit New York, a little bit Los Angeles and stuff like that. Calabasas. I performed some Shakespeare there and all over. And I've done some stuff in Maine and Dallas and Fort Worth, mostly my hometown. But I'm going back to Quentin Tarantino because when I was studying with the DTS, as a Dallas Theological Seminary, well, I wasn't studying at DTS. I was studying with DTS students, but we were doing a Christian drama group. So we were called the Puritan Players, and we were doing some John Bunyan, which I'm so proud that I got to do, because later on, after that really settles in, John Bunyan's a powerful writer. He came out in the 1660s when he was writing. He wrote in Bedford Jail because he broke a thing called the 5 mile rule. He went 5 miles from the Church of England and was a was prophesizing, or he was evangelizing, and they locked him up for it, basically for being a minister. It was a stupid reason to lock him up, but he wrote a great book called Pilgrim's Progress, which is kind of a model for novels today. And believe it or not, many of the DTS, not all of them, but some of the actors that were part of DTS or knew the people of DTS were very excited to talk about Quentin Tarantino. As violent and the language that he used, okay, and the violence, it didn't stun them, really. The Bible itself has violence in it. So we know that's, if it's going to stump you, and I'm talking about violence, if it's going to stump you, and you're thinking about it, because I have a guy that gets his head chopped off in Grace, and an arm gets cut, off, and you have to go through with it. I did manipulate some of the F-U-C-K for the sake of YouTube. YouTube doesn't like it, but I went ahead and read that aspect of it, and Quentin has been kind of cornered about violence, and he's emotional about it. But the DTS students, these were church people, were talking about him. And I didn't go off and say anything about the violence, because it's not, I don't think his stories are about just the violence. It's part of life. If you've ever seen Birth, it's kind of a violent thing. We come through this world in kind of like violence kind of thing. So I know he gets stumped about it, but I think it has a spiritual quality, and I think the church will talk about it. It's tough because he doesn't hold back. He has no inhibition. He doesn't have any fear in writing. That's what makes him great. There's no fear about it. If the violence is there, then it's there. I got to find this thing coming up. Looks like they're getting ready for Christmas in that direction. La 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 la. All right, we're headed back, so probably gonna open the screenplay, maybe work on a few pages. Usually I read it ahead of time, and then I go in and change things around, rather than trying to read a whole 200 pages through each time. Sometimes I will just read a scene and go, okay, wait, this word needs to be omitted, and this word needs to be added. But I'm also limiting the shot list, or shots in it, if it's going to be like a wide shot or a close-up or a crash zoom or whatever, because I feel that I'd be cheating the script if I just place things in there, unless I'm very strong about a close-up, or I need something to be there, not just to have shots in there for the sake of busyness. So you can always go back and write on the script if you want a certain way that scene needs to be done. You don't always have to write in all the different shots. So I'm going to limit that, keep to the true heart of the script, and just basically looking for spelling errors and dialogue manipulation. To see what I can make more clear, that kind of thing. It's a lot of work. We're over the lake right now, Lake Worth. For some reason lately, I don't know why, but I've been thinking about the silent era. Those filmmakers, they went out to California because the weather was good. They had lots of trails for the horses, mountains, and if they wanted to do a snow scene, they could just go to Sacramento or something. And then the sky shows up. These professional filmmakers are out there doing all these little comedies and, stock characters, and all of a sudden this vaudevillian character with a weird mustache shows up and a cane and just shows up right on set, Daniel Johnston style. Name's Charlie Chaplin. Starts dancing around, creates a movie called The Tramp, and he just walked on set supposedly all the way from England, changed American cinema and world cinema, the European cinema as well. That's why Robert Downey Jr. was in tears when he found out that they wanted to use him to play Chaplin. Yeah, he cried. But it's hard to say. Chaplin's life is a mystery because I guess maybe he was destined to be this funny character. So was Buster Keaton. They're both destined to just basically just rip it up in Hollywood, but they did it. He found a way to get on set and walk around and become a legend. It just happened just like that. All right, for November 11th, the total trip counter was 98.9 miles. We're gonna go ahead and reset it.